Replace the whole lot. Just get them off as quick as you can.
It's falling off, John. The wood they use is completely useless.
Well, that's why they brought us in. Do the job properly this time.
John Palmer's having a bad day.
John!
It's going to get much worse.
That wall's in the wrong place. We'll have to take it down and start again.
Be right down.
Okay.
You take care up there, Marcos.
For 45 years, John's heart hasn't missed a single beat. But today, it's going to let him down, with dire consequences for his entire body. A ball of muscle no bigger than his fist, John's heart pumps enough blood to fill 40 barrels each day. Inside its chambers, red blood cells, saturated with oxygen, are sucked in and pumped out with amazing force. They are propelled into a network of blood vessels, 75,000 miles long, which supplies oxygen to every organ and muscle in John's body.
Kenny. Yeah, a few problems. They're a hopeless lot they let loose on this place, you know.
John's heart doesn't just supply oxygen to other organs, it also supplies itself. Clinging to its surface are narrow blood vessels, coronary arteries, which feed the heart's own muscular walls. The walls of John's heart consist of 50 million elastic muscle cells, all contracting together. This is the beat of John's heart.
Yeah, we'll get it done. I'll just have to keep getting my hands dirty, that's all. Yeah, see you later. Bye.
John, when you got a moment?
Yes!
Unluckily for John, lurking inside one of his vital coronary arteries is a tiny time bomb. A growth no bigger than a grain of sand, it has the potential to alter the course of John's life.
There you go. Just the job.
Came free with our order. Looks a bit like Kenny, don't you think?
There you go. Right. Wait.
The growth inside John's coronary artery consists mainly of cholesterol.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Our bodies need cholesterol to function normally,
Yeah?
but most of what we require is manufactured in our livers.
Why?
John doesn't need the extra cholesterol in his food.
Yeah, I'm listening.
The surplus seeps into his bloodstream. Small amounts can be transported safely, but too much and it spills out, polluting his blood with globules of free-floating fat.
Yeah, well, we all have days like that, don't we? Yeah, go on then.
Cholesterol globules sink into tiny cracks in John's artery wall, creating a fat-filled growth, a plaque. Over the years, it bulges up and out into the artery. Slowly but surely, it begins to reduce the free flow of John's blood.
Why?
All of us have some plaques in our arteries,
Yeah.
but John has many more than most men of his age.
Is it on the lorry? Is it on the lorry?
The inner walls of his coronary arteries are riddled with plaques. Blood is being squeezed through vessels which are half the width they ought to be. 45 years of cholesterol buildup lurks beneath a thin and fragile membrane.
What do you mean? It can't be delivered till when? Go on.
John is suffering from advanced heart disease, but he doesn't yet know it,
Go on.
because so far his heart has been able to compensate for the damage.
I'll just have to manage, won't I? Yeah, I'll see you then.
Only a week ago, a patch of his heart muscle became starved of oxygen. The grey muscle cells sent a distress signal to nearby coronary arteries. New blood vessels began to grow. A natural heart bypass, bringing a fresh supply of oxygen to the starving cells. But this kind of bypass takes at least 2 days to grow. Too slow to save John if an artery were to block suddenly.
If anything else goes wrong today. Pete, give us a cigarette, will you? Give us a light one.
John's heart is designed to respond to the needs of his body, moment by moment. While he's sitting still, it needs to beat no more than 70 times a minute. To maintain its precision, it uses electricity. The heart is the only organ with its own power supply. A natural pacemaker, buried deep in its walls, generates electrical pulses which ensure its regular beat. Each pulse surges through the cells which make up the heart's muscular walls, forcing them to beat in unison and keep perfect time.
Right, let's be having you then.
What kind of lunch break's that?
What are you getting, mate? We've got another job to get to after this, you know.
Another 10 minutes. Hey, get the ball against that wall, the whole lot will probably fall down by itself.
10 minutes then. To me, come on.
Come on, then. There you go.
Come on, give it to me, come on. Give it back.
As John chases after the ball, 70 heartbeats per minute is no longer enough to meet his body's demand for oxygen. It's a long time since he did any exercise, and his leg muscles cry out for extra fuel. His brain sends an urgent signal to his heart. The pacemaker reacts instantly, stepping up the rate at which it fires electrical pulses. 2 minutes into the game, John's heartbeat has almost doubled to 120 beats per minute. Even though he's the slowest player on the pitch, his heart is beating faster than anyone else's. John's oxygen intake also adapts to his needs. He breathes faster and more deeply to supply his hungry muscles. He's taking in nearly 20 times more air than normal.
Yes. Stand back.
His heart keeps up its frenetic beat to pump this extra fuel to his legs.
John? And the man with the magic feet is through go. He will score, surely. Hey, your pants are stitching your movement, right, John?
Simply to keep him in the game, John's heart and lungs are working at their limit. But by doing so, they're placing him in mortal danger. Blood is being forced faster and faster through his diseased coronary arteries. Flowing at 5 times their normal speed, blood cells eddy and swirl around his plaques. Bombarded by red blood cells, one fragile plaque is under unbearable strain. Its thin membrane is ripped open. Within moments, blood cells start to clot around the rupture. Anywhere else in John's body, this clotting response might save his life. But here, in his narrow artery, the effect is quite the opposite.
It's a bit hot, Johnny. Come on. Oh, no.
The clot in John's artery traps more and more passing blood cells. It grows bigger, and the flow of blood to John's heart slows down. Downstream, the heart muscle cells are in peril. Their oxygen supply is dwindling, just when they need it most. The starving cells send pain signals to his brain. But John has never experienced pain from his heart before. To him, it feels just like indigestion.
You eat your lunch too fast, John.
Perhaps the old man's better off in goal.
He has no idea that this is the start of a heart attack. The growing clot is now blocking 2/3 of his artery. John's indigestion is getting worse.
That's it. His batteries are gone.
He feels a vice-like pain in his left arm. His brain is confused, overloaded with the escalating pain signals coming from his heart. For the first time in his life, the regular beat of John's heart is under threat. A patch of 4 million muscle cells is running low on oxygen.
John, what's up? What's the matter?
5 minutes after his heart attack began, John's body is struggling to deal with the crisis. His brain has triggered a surge of the hormone adrenaline into his bloodstream. This is one of the most primitive and powerful reactions in the human body. Adrenaline arrives in his heart and soaks into its inner walls. The pacemaker begins to accelerate. John's heart is racing at 140 beats per minute, even faster than when he was running around. But now all its efforts are focused on its own starving muscle.
Call an ambulance.
But adrenaline can do nothing about the growing clot. It fills 90% of his artery. The supply of oxygen to his heart cells is down to a trickle. They are forced to shut down the function which absorbs most of their energy. They stop beating. Leaving the rest of his heart to take up the slack. John's weakened heart cannot sustain its beat for much longer.
We're just playing a game of football.
How's the pain now, John? Okay.
He loves football, John.
It's now 15 minutes since his heart attack began, and the flow of blood through John's artery is almost totally blocked. The heart muscle cells no longer have the energy to hold themselves in one piece. Their thin membranes are starting to leak.
be okay, John. Just hang on in there.
John's injured heart is wearing itself out. Its beat is getting weaker. The effects are beginning to tell on the rest of his body. John is struggling to breathe because his lungs are filling with fluid. As his heart weakens, blood backs up in the vessels coming from his lungs. The extra pressure forces liquid out of his blood into the air sacs in his lungs. If the process doesn't stop, he could drown in his own body fluid.
You must keep this on.
Nice, steady breaths now. Well done, mate.
Bringing in a 45-year-old male, possible MI, ETA 3 minutes, over.
Just hold on, John. We're nearly there. They'll sort you out.
The lack of oxygen in John's body is beginning to affect his brain. He's dizzy and disorientated. Time is running out for John. His starved heart muscle cells are beginning to burst and die.
Let's get him to release us as quick as you can, please. Watch your backs.
If he's not treated within the next 20 minutes, his heart will be so badly damaged, it will never beat normally again.
What's the story?
John Palmer, 45-year-old. Collapsed with chest pains playing football. No past history, big hypertensive. BP 90 over 50, tachycardia 120.
When did your pain start, John?
I don't know.
They said about half an hour ago.
Don't worry, John. We'll soon have you sorted out.
Are you his friend?
Yeah.
Do you know if he's got a heart problem? Can you give his details to reception?
Right, let's do it verbally, quick as you can, please.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
John is losing 500 heart cells each second. And unlike most cells in his body, they can never be replaced.
He's had a big anterior MI. We have to thrombolyze him. No contraindications, so let's give him some TPA.
By measuring the pattern of electricity in John's heart, the ECG locates the dying patch of muscle. Now his only hope is that his blocked artery can be cleared by a clot-busting drug, tissue plasminogen activator, or TPA. The TPA must reach the clot before so many heart cells die that his heart stops and he dies too. John's heart muscle has been reconnected just in time.
Susie, hi, customer for you.
Only 500,000 cells have been lost. The survivors are starting to beat once more.
Okay, BP 110.
His condition has stabilized.
Bed ready, about 10 minutes.
But as oxygen floods back, one surviving cell starts to beat out of step. It's generating its own electrical signal. This single cell with its different beat throws John's heart into chaos. Its signal clashes with the pacemakers. Electrical anarchy breaks out. Without a unifying pulse, his heart is unable to beat. It is in VF, ventricular fibrillation. His brain's oxygen supply drops to nothing.
VF arrest. Call the crash team.
Unless John's heart is made to beat again in the next 4 minutes, his brain will be permanently damaged.
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Charging 200 joules. Stand clear, please.
The shock is 130,000 watts, enough power to light a football stadium. It's not designed to start John's heart. Instead, it stops it dead, to give the pacemaker a chance to take back control.
Shift is 2 VF. Charging 200. Stand clear, everyone. Okay, thank you everybody. Let's get him up to CCU quickly. It's all right, John. You've done really well.
Your heart went into a funny rhythm, John, but you're going to be okay. Okay?
Over the next 5 days, the ruptured membrane of John's plaque will heal. During that time, he'll be given drugs to stop a new clot forming. But the plaque will always remain in his artery.
There's damp coming through that wall, look.
Relax, will ya? You're beginning to sound like Kenny. Forget about work.
And you better forget about the football too.
Here you go.
On the line.
John has had a lucky escape.
It's through. He's taking it all away.
For the rest of his life, he'll take blood-thinning drugs to prevent his arteries from blocking again. On his heart, the 500,000 cells that died have left a scar. A permanent reminder of the trauma it has suffered.
Get into the net, come on. No! No! This is incredible. It's a disastrous. What a Spanish team. 1-on-1. Come on. Yeah!
Bob Bridges' body has carried him through 87 years of life. But not for much longer. Time has worn Bob's body out. Every one of his organs is in decline. Our bodies have evolved to last only long enough to pass our genes to the next generation. Once we have reproduced and reared our children, we are all dispensable. Bob fulfilled his biological purpose long ago. He's living on borrowed time. Since the day he was born, the cells in Bob's body have been dying, but his body is designed to replace them.
Look, Qwerty, it's from Ralph. Ralph. Right. King takes Paul.
It's because his body is constantly repairing and renewing itself that Bob has been able to survive for 87 years. Every day of his life, he's lost 1 billion cells from the surface of his skin. But just 1 millimeter beneath the skin's surface lie specialist cells called stem cells. These cells are factories producing healthy new skin cells to take the place of those that die. Bob has different kinds of stem cells all over his body. They have replaced his bones, his blood, even the lining of his stomach, over and over again. The cycle of renewal is so rapid that most of his body has never been more than 10 years old. Some parts only 3 days old.
Fancy the West Beach today?
But some of Bob's most vital organs, including his heart and his brain, are made of cells which can never be renewed. These cells have suffered almost 9 decades of toxic damage. They have been attacked by pollution and ultraviolet light. But even in the cleanest environment, cells get damaged because they generate their own pollutants. Inside every cell in Bob's body are tiny electrically charged particles known as free radicals. Free radicals are the waste products of healthy cell activity. Highly volatile, they have the potential to damage anything they collide with. At the heart of the cell is its blueprint, its DNA. It's struck by free radicals around 10,000 times a day. Usually the DNA repairs itself, but on very rare occasions, the repair process fails. With an altered blueprint, the cell's behavior becomes unpredictable. The body's solution is drastic. A cell with severely damaged DNA is programmed to commit suicide. With every passing day, more and more of Bob's cells die. And the stem cells which manufacture new cells are dying too. Bob is, quite simply, wasting away. It's the cumulative effect of cells dying all over his body, which is taking its toll on the quality of Bob's life. When he walks, Bob's brain sends signals to stimulate the muscles in his legs. But in his spinal cord, free radicals have killed off nerve cells. Connections have been broken. Signals can no longer get through. Bob's leg muscles have grown weaker. These weakened muscles need more oxygen to keep them moving. But Bob's breathing apparatus, from his windpipe to his lungs, is not what it was. He's lost 1/6 of the delicate surface which absorbs oxygen into his blood. His breathing is shallow and inefficient. Worse still, Bob's heart has lost 1/4 of its muscle cells. Less and less oxygen is being pumped to his legs. He used to be able to run at more than 10 miles an hour. Now 2 miles an hour is as fast as his legs can carry him.
Oh, it's Grandad. Morning, Dad. Morning. What's this then, Simon? Reward for helping me with a new stock. Would never happen in my day.
You only sold typewriters.
So you think you need the practice then, do you?
Bob's most precious organ is his brain. Somewhere in the trillions of connections between his brain cells lie his personality and memory. If his brain cells were replaced, everything that Bob is would be lost.
Splendid. Must run in the family.
It's not that brain cells don't die. Free radicals, and even the odd bump on the head, have contributed to Bob's brain losing 50,000 cells each day of his life. But because we're born with many more brain cells than we ever use or need, the effects of a shrinking brain take a long time to show. Even though 10% of his brain cells have died, Bob is still mentally sharp most of the time. But the death toll isn't evenly spread across his brain. Certain abilities are beginning to suffer.
Your dad never used to help me in the shop.
Well, maybe you should have paid him.
Didn't give you anything to do?
You know he did, Grandad. He gave me that chess game.
Deep in Bob's brain is an area called the hippocampus. Its role is to translate experiences into memories. Since he was 50, it has lost 1/5 of its cells. His brain is now less able to lay down new memories. This may explain one of the paradoxes of old age, that Bob can't remember recent events as well as he can recall experiences from his distant past. Every time we learn a new skill, our brain cells reach out and forge connections with each other. But over the years, Bob's brain has become less able to make these fresh connections. It's more difficult for him to learn new skills. The organs which feed information to Bob's brain are degenerating too. In his inner ear, years of noise have destroyed sound-sensitive cells. He began to lose the ability to hear high-pitched sounds when he was only 30. Since he was 50, Bob has been long-sighted. Ironically, his sight has been damaged by his body's own efforts at repair. The lens in his eye maintains itself by regularly coating its surface with a transparent protein. But as more and more layers have been laid down, his lens has become rigid. And a rigid lens is more difficult to focus. Bob's senses may have suffered the ravages of time, but the skills he's practiced throughout his life are still as sharp as ever. When connections between brain cells are used repeatedly, the connections themselves stay strong.
Might be a new table, but still the same old game.
Just like his muscles, the more Bob uses his brain cells, the less likely they are to die.
See you tomorrow.
Simon, thank you for letting me beat you at pinball.
Bye.
Bob has kept himself alert and alive for nearly 90 years. But the truth is, that's far longer than humans were designed to survive. And now, Bob's losing his grasp on life. The cells in Bob's body have many functions, but all of them generate heat, and this heat helps to sustain Bob's life. But now, with a dwindling number of cells, he's colder than he used to be. Even worse, Bob is less able to conserve his body heat. Our temperature is controlled by the blood vessels in our skin. When we're hot, they expand to give out excess heat. When we're cold, they constrict to divert blood and heat into the core of our bodies. But Bob has lost this ability. Even though he's cold, the blood vessels in his hands are still losing heat to the outside world. Like old pipes, his vessels are furred up with fat and calcium. His central heating system is no longer working as it should. Bob's temperature control is one of many systems in his body which are only just coping with the demands of everyday life. In Bob's stomach, his lunch is broken down by digestive acid. His stomach shields itself from this acid with a cellular lining. But just like everywhere else in his body, the stem cells which generate this lining are starting to die off. Bob doesn't know it, but his stomach wall is getting threadbare and open to acid attack. For most of us, this would pose no real danger. But in Bob's increasingly fragile state, it could easily become life-threatening. Digestive acid has burnt its way right through his stomach wall into an artery. Blood pours through the hole into his stomach. But all Bob feels is a little queasy and lightheaded.
Not feeling too good, Qwerty. I think I'll have a little lie down.
Bob is in very little pain, but his body is just too old to cope with this crisis. If he were a younger man, his perforated artery would instantly constrict to slow the loss of blood. But his aged, furred-up blood vessel is too stiff. Pints of blood are pouring into his stomach. Bob's blood pressure is dropping. His heart beats faster to keep blood moving round his body. But even pumping at its maximum rate, his fragile heart cannot restore his blood pressure to normal.
Not now, Qwerty. Not now.
For Bob, this is the beginning of the end. Bob's stomach is starting to digest his own leaking blood, releasing potassium into his bloodstream. His body is no longer strong enough to filter it out, and potassium can reset the rhythm of the heart. Bob's heart starts to beat irregularly. For the first time in nearly 90 years, the supply of blood and oxygen being pumped around his body falters. The most devastating impact is on his brain. For all its power, the brain is a fragile organ. It needs constant and plentiful supplies of oxygen. It's vulnerable to the slightest drop in blood flow. In a vain attempt to conserve energy, Bob's brain suspends all activity except that which keeps his body functioning. Bob slips into unconsciousness. His heart is pumping so little blood, it can no longer support its own beat. Slowly, it is grinding to a halt. The traffic of blood around Bob's body has ceased. Death is now inevitable. Though Bob is still breathing, there is no oxygen getting to his cells. The cause of each death is as individual as the life which preceded it, but the order in which the body shuts down is always the same. The first cells to die are in the brain. As death approaches, they release waves of morphine-like chemicals called endorphins, which blot out any anxiety or pain. Dying cells in his visual cortex start to fire off signals at random. Although his eyes are shut, it's as if he's seeing. This may explain the tunnel of light which many people report when brought back from the brink of death. Finally, brain cells detach from one another, breaking the connections they had made during a lifetime of thinking and remembering. Bob's brain is dead. Now all remaining body function ceases. Death is a process in which every tissue and organ shuts down at its own pace. Bob's body will continue making skin cells for several minutes. His muscles will live on for hours, but eventually these too will stop. As cell after cell ceases its activity, Bob's body stops generating its own heat. With its internal fire extinguished, it starts to cool towards the temperature of the room. Bob is dead, but he still has a biological presence. The blueprint for his cells, his DNA, has been passed down to his son, and from his son to his grandson. Though his consciousness has gone, Bob's characteristics live on.